Thank you very much, Convener. Good morning, committee colleagues. Following the closure of the main census collect period on the 31st of May, on the 22nd of August, the census coverage survey also came to an end. And while this may mark the end of live operations for Scotland Census 2022, it certainly doesn't mark the end of the work required to deliver high-quality census outputs. Scotland Census is a highly complex programme, which in common with other modern censuses consists of many elements. While it's understandable that much of the focus so far has been on the public-facing elements of the census, particularly the census return rate, that in itself is not the deciding factor in determining the success or not of a census. As the International Steering Group set out in the paper they provided to the committee, and as Professor Sir Ian Diamond and Professor David Martin explained during the evidence session 2 weeks ago, it's the combination of three pillars which will deliver the high-quality census outputs that users require. High-quality census returns of which an almost 90% return rate has been achieved, a coverage survey and peer-reviewed statistical techniques, and the use of high-quality administrative data. This was the first primarily online census, and generally this worked very well, with 89% of respondents completing online. This exceeded the national record for Scotland's target of 75% and clearly indicates a strong preference for the majority of citizens to use digital rather than paper completion. The shift in public preference should be taken into account for any future census exercise or similar significant public engagement. This is also the most flexible census ever, delivered with options for completing digitally, by paper form, and also through assisted completion by telephone and field force. Despite concerns, the month-long extension to the collection period also led to a significant improvement of return rates at both national and at local levels. The national return rate increased by 10 percentage points since the 1st of May, but crucially, the extension also ensured that there was enhanced coverage across the country, with 30 of 32 local authorities achieving return rates of more than 85%, and no authority less than 83%. 18 of those local authorities achieved a return rate greater than 90%. There are, however, some emerging indications of shifts in public attitudes in Scotland to the importance of the census, and there is a need to understand these. This phenomenon appears not to be restricted, however, to the census, but is emerging in other areas, for example, completion rates in broader Scottish social surveys. The committee recently heard from Sir Ian Diamond that this is a trend which has been seen in declining participation rates across recent years, and as such, it will be important to understand and plan for such an event up front in the design and risk management for any future census. However, with a final return rate of 89.2%, I hope that committee members and indeed the public are reassured by the words of the International Steering Group, who in their submission to this inquiry noted that they, and I quote, consider that the main census enumeration has provided the foundation for a high-quality set of census outputs in terms of coverage of the population. And indeed, Sir Ian Diamond's evidence that the census in Scotland will still produce, and I quote, really good data. As recommended by the International Steering Group, the National Records of Scotland are working at pace to secure the necessary access to key administrative data sets for the purpose of census estimation and adjustment. This expansion and enhancement of administrative data use beyond the original plans for estimation of census response will put NRS in a strong position to deliver a high-quality set of census outputs for Scotland's 2022 census. The Scottish Government and NRS are extremely grateful for the time and expertise that the International Steering Group continue to provide as they move through planned post-collection quality control and assurance work. Over the coming months, National Records of Scotland will continue to focus on planned post-collection quality control and assurance work to deliver the high-quality census outputs users require. Finally, I also put on my record my thanks to the millions of households who participated in Scotland's Census 2022, and I look forward to answering your questions today. Thank you very much.